Is it a good or a bad time to buy a house? Neither. That's a really dumb question. Real estate agents saying it's a good time to buy a house. Other people saying the housing market's going to crash. All that stuff is stupid because it's too generic on explaining the nuanced position that you should really have. You need to talk to a lender. Doesn't matter. Let's keep going. The goal of today is to kind of go through a nuanced numerical answer of those things and explain to you a very specific situation for us because we bought a house this last year for $450,000. So let's just jump right on into it. And the first thing we're always going to look at is going to be interest rates. You can see right now interest rates are right around 6.5%. At their height, they were like 8%, about 7.9%. They've dropped about a 1.5% in the last month and a half since October 31st. Right or wrong, good or bad, all that doesn't matter. That's just to acknowledge, if your mortgage payment, you were paying it before at 8%, you were paying right around $33,877 for a $450,000 house. If you did $13,500 down payment or 3%, that's what I see all the time. And now you're paying right around $3,433. So your immediate question is, do you buy or do you rent? So we bought a house for $450,000. It's a 5-bed, 2.5-bath in North Ogden, Utah. If you did exactly that with 3% down, your mortgage payment is right now at this moment, it's going to be right around $3,433. So what would a home rent for right now? If you wanted to buy, this isn't a perfect example by any means, but if you're wanting to rent in this area, 4-bed, 3-bath, this is a 2000. This is just the closest comparable I could get when all the things were random and crazy. Doesn't matter. It's $2,400 a month. Let's just take that number, $2,400 a month. So effectively, you're going to be saving about $1,000 a month if that's what you chose to do, was to rent over buying. And so the first example that we really want to look at is going to be if we're in the first year, in the first 1 year, if you decided to buy a house, that $13,500 that you're going to be putting down on that house is going to turn into negative $8,713. Where that comes from is going to be, let's say the home increases 4% in value, which is a standard amount. So you've gained $18,000 in equity at that point. You're going to gain a little bit as well with your principal. It's going to be like $1,000 or $4,000 or something. It's going to actually be $4,787. That's the amount of principal that you're going to pay down at that point after paying a full year of mortgages. You try to sell the house, you're going to pay $27,000 in realtor fees. That's 6% for me. I charge 6%. Other people charge 5%. We're going to do the higher number just to do the higher number. And then another $4,500 in miscellaneous costs. Maybe that's seller paid concessions. Some of that's buying it or title fee and stuff like that. Other costs, $4,500. So that you're going to end up losing $8,713. Where if you took that $13,500 and you put it into the stocks and you made 8% on it in a year, you're going to make $1,080. And then also on top of that, you're also going to make about $18,000. I don't know where it is, but let's just add $18,000 on there, because that's about the money that you're going to save if you're not paying rent. So you're going to make $19,080 off of renting, where you're going to lose $8,713 off of buying. So over 1 year, it's probably really stupid to buy, especially because those sneaky real estate agent fees. Everybody acts like they're not there, but they are. You're losing $27,000. So then the question is, oh, okay, cool. What if we bought this house and we wanted to buy it for 10 years? Well, there's two scenarios I want to talk about. The first one's going to be just a standard. If you let's say you bought the house and for 10 years and it went up 4% on average over the next 10 years, you would get about $190,000 in equity from the house. That'd be the amount of equity that you get. So it'd be worth $640,000 effectively. And then on top of that, you would gain another $63,529 from the principal that you would pay off in the 10 years. So for a total of $254,019. So then you try to decide, you're like, okay, I want to go sell it. Try to use Paden. He's going to charge 6%. That's $38,400. And then you're going to have another $30,000 of cost that you're going to have over 10 years. It might be higher than that. It might be lower than that. So I just added on another $20,000 so $50,000 in costs of house repairs and then also selling your house, title fees. I just chose a really big lump sum. We could get it more accurate, but I think that's an over exaggeration of the cost that you would have, which is what I was going for. So you would take home $165,619 on a 10-year span. If you took that $13,500 and you just put it in the stocks, you would make $29,145 off of it, which is significantly less than $165,000. But a large question that you should be then also asking is, what if we're not paying that high rent? I didn't want to do increased rent and everything over every year, so I just took that original amount. So $182,000 plus, let's just do $30,000, is you're going to be able to basically have $212,640 extra in between those two numbers. So still, even over a 10-year period of time, it looks like renting is the better way to go financially, especially if you're taking that money and you are investing it. There's a hugely valid point there. But this is where it starts getting a little bit more nuanced and kind of interesting in general. So let's say at some point you're able to cut your interest rate. Let's say interest rates go down to 4%. If they did do that, then you would be at a mortgage payment of $2,422 a month. Or effectively, you're not saving any money. So let's say that happens over a 4-year period of time. That's going to look like this. It's going to look like, so you've got $73,056 that you've saved over a 4-year period of time, and then you add that $30,000, and that's $102,201. So that's your total take home, investing that money and saving money on rent. Where if you were buying the house and keeping it for 10 years and then getting a lower interest rate, you're going to make $165,619. So you're going to be making right around $60,000 more if you buy a house, keep it for 10 years, and then at some point you refinance. Am I telling you that you should buy a house, obviously, if you're going to live there for 10 years? No, that's stupid. Don't think about it that way. Think about it this way. If I want to buy a house, it functionally works well for me. I find a place that I'm very comfortable with, and it makes me happier in life to be able to have a home that I call my own, and I use the principal as an extra savings account, and I'm buying this asset and it's increasing in value. If I'm doing all these things, then there's an avenue that makes it so that it's one of the better investments that you can make. And then also on top of that, if you actually put a concerted effort into trying to buy a house at a discount. If you buy a house at a $20,000 discount, you almost could make it so that you're breaking even in the first year. And maybe it is worth buying a home and getting that large discount on it. If you think that if there's a way for you to get interest rate that's lower than the 6.6% right now, and you're saving that extra money, do you see where I'm going with this? There's so many of those extra variables that make it so that you can break even a lot quicker if you choose to. But just also keep in mind, renting, you don't have the maintenance with it. You're not going to have those extra maintenance costs in general. And you're not going to have real estate agents trying to sell your house and being greasy and stuff like that. You got to take it out of your mind what's right, what's wrong, and you got to put it in your mind what works best for me. If you're looking for an asset that increases in value, $450,000 is always going to go quicker than the $13,500. It's the same investment in certain ways, but the larger number is going to grow quicker. Just fact, just simple as that. If you're looking for the least stressful way, renting is probably always going to be functionally easier. And at this specific moment in time, you're going to be saving about $1,000 on rent. So if you take that over $12,000 over a year and you invest that amount, and then it just so happens that interest rates don't go down for 6 years, and you invest all of that extra money, you're probably going to be doing pretty good. Both of those avenues are not bad ways to go at all. So I hope this kind of gives you an idea of what are all of the variables that you're really looking at when you're trying to buy a house. And I'm hoping that you're not pigeonholing yourself into thinking it's a good or a bad time to buy a house. At 8% interest rates, when your mortgage payments were going to be $3,877, it seems like it's a bad time to buy a house at that point. But if you were able to find a home that was at a 25% discount, and you can hold on to that mortgage rate, and you live comfortably, and you're not worried about payments, and you hold on to it for 4 years, and then you are actually able to refinance in that specific situation, all of a sudden you're doing even better than what my original scenario was. And so there you go. Three final things. One, what are the variables that you want to see that make you want to buy a house? Is it financial? Is it you want to have a place to raise your kids, an emotional side of it? Or is there something else that we don't even know? Comment that down below, because I want to make videos trying to explain the different avenues for people and they're buying their homes. Two, give me a like, give me a subscribe, super appreciate it, asking for it, blah, 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 blah. And then three, I just really appreciate you watching this video. Thanks for being here. Let me know if this helped you out. Other than that, hope you're having a great day, and bye-bye now.